This is Fortitudefx. I'll be doing a daily pre-London GU analysis using supply and demand and structure, and then post New York session we'll see what happened with the price. So let's get to it. What you see over here is a GU chart daily, and I use this, so my time frames are usually 4H, 1H, and 15-minute is my execution time frame. And I use daily just to see where is price at any key levels, just to give me an indication if I'm not trading against a particularly strong zone. So on daily you can see the price is moving up. Please excuse all these markings. It'll become clear when we go down to 4H and 1H. But the price is going up. It had a recent boss on daily, and now after the boss it's pulling back into relevant levels, and the one that I can see is this daily demand zone. What I suspect is that the price might pull up, go down a little bit, which is obviously huge moves on lower time frames, but essentially it will go into this demand for a deep pullback and then sort of fly from here upwards. Okay, so that's your daily. Let's move into 4H. Things get a little bit more interesting over here. So what you see within 4H is, if I zoom in a little bit, we had the last break of structure here. And then for me, we've had a constant push upwards. You could have a different marking of the structure, that's okay. For me, these are 1H bosses, and the reason for that is I'm looking for a relatively deeper pullback to the price action on 4H. Anyway, so it has pushed quite a bit upwards, and then we had the 1H bosses coming down, and if we focus on the latest price action, we had a 1H boss yesterday with the price moving down on news considerably. It broke some of the supply demand zones on the left here. Typically these are not reversal zones, these are your reaction zones, and then we are moving downwards. So at this point in time, this is where we are at, and what I'm looking at right now is that this wick here on the 4H could be a demand zone, and price could react from here and then sort of give us another 1H boss, break the slow, get into the demand, and then move upwards. Or we could just continue through this supply zone. Sorry, I said demand in the past. We can move this quickly, break the supply zone, close above, which will give us an indication then the 4H had a chalk, and that gives an intention of the price moving upwards. So 4H chalks, comes back into a newly created demand zone, and then it could go up. But for me, this is a protected leg on 1H, because I classify this as a 1H break of structure, and then it could react from here to move downwards. Let's move to 1H. Okay, so this is my main time frame. This is where I do all my analysis for executions and what price is doing. This is the last boss you saw. So let me zoom out. So we've had a considerable push. This was the 4H boss that you saw on 4H chart. Then your 1H break of structures coming all the way down. 1H had to become bearish and had to have a bearish structure in order to mitigate or come down as a counter pullback for a pro 4H swing upwards, right? So in order for the price to come down, 15-minute and 1H has to become bearish, which becomes the counter pullback for the 4H leg on a bigger time frame, but it becomes a pro 1H movement and a pro 15-minute movement, right? So ideally, how do you want to trade? You want to trade pro and pro. Best would be that you have pro internal, pro swing. You can do counter internal pro swing. You can do counter pro swing and pro internal, or you can do counter counter. I would advise that you don't do counter counter, because that becomes a really difficult place to place your trades, identify entries, and not be trapped by the market. Anyway, so if you look at the recent price action, what do we have here? If I zoom out a little bit, so this one is strong. So we had the boss, we had the strong swing over here. Now this is gone, so I will delete that over there. Price ran down very quickly and aggressively. We had the last chalk, 1/8 chalk over here, so I had identified this. The price never pulled back. It went and gave me a 4/8 chalk, and then price again never pulled back into this to give me an opportunity to get involved. It had a massive drop from the news yesterday, and then it had a considerable pullback, and that I would classify as 1H boss for me. And then this would be the protected 1H leg, but for 4H this would be just a chalk, right? So this is what I was saying. If 4H chalks here, then I might get a new demand zone, and then with that new demand zone I can look for a buy, or price can come into this newly created supply zone, give me a solid 15-minute or whatever time frame I'm entering, a solid evidence that the price is moving downwards, there is a shift. You could look at chalks and liquidity sweeps, whatever you have in your entry models. You can look into that and then trade it all the way down, knowing that you are pro internal. And then once you get a nice, decent change in entry into the change in price flow on the entry time frame, you can trade all the way down into this refined daily, right? This entire is your daily demand. If it moves up, you go up. If it comes here, gives you a nice confirmation, it goes down. Or what it could do is it could come up, sweep this, and give you a new supply zone, and then you can trade that downwards, right? Price can very well break all of this, go into these supply zones over here and here that we had previously identified. These are valid. This supply zone, I'm not very strongly convinced, and the reason for that is because this could act as inducement for the one above. So I would be looking for sells here, but with very strong confirmation on my execution time frame. Definitely looking for sells here, and I would definitely today looking for sells here with a good confirmation that the price is going down. All right, guys, so we'll speak soon towards the end of the session. Have fun, enjoy your trading, and remember, structure trumps everything. You take care, guys.